What's going down, everybody? Well, if you're here, you already know what's going down. It's In the Light of a Warrior with the MS Warrior. Today, I'm AG the Dad. Every day, I'm AG the Dad. And every day is Shit Talking Sundays. But today, it's the MS Warrior's journey. Today, we have a little something special for you. I think we're going to get up close and personal. So I'm going to need everybody out there that's listening. If you're not too scared and you really want to know what's really going on, ask questions. Today will be Q&A up close and personal with the MS Warrior. No question too horrible that can't be asked. So please feel free to ask any question. With that being said, let me also say, this is my disclaimer. I am not a doctor. She is not a doctor. She is just a patient of a doctor who has MS, and she's giving you her journey. If you have a medical emergency, please dial 911, and please consult your physician before trying anything that may be suggested or not, because she's not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. This is just her journey and maybe my opinion, if you want to call it that. But please, please, please make sure you talk to a doctor before you do anything. With that being said, let's jump right in and let's get into the MS Warrior. What's cracking today?
Hey, what's up, AG the Dad? Thank you for having me tonight. How are you?
Hey, I'm always good. It's today is a horrible day, but we're gonna pull through it. My heart goes out to those kids and that teacher out there that was killed. Um,
Oh,
uh,
yes.
at
Prayers,
that
prayers,
school.
prayers.
Yeah, prayers go out to them. I'm gonna say that you know I don't know what the solution is, whether more gun control, less gun control. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not gonna play the politics of that. I will just say that education is definitely something that we need. With that being said, because I know this is a whole different show, so let's get up close and personal. What we gonna talk about today?
Yeah, prayers going out to the family. First and foremost, my disclaimer is I am not a doctor. I would never give anyone out there in my warrior land any medical advice. What I speak about on this podcast tonight is solely what my medical team has advised and put in place for yours truly. So always, like AG the Dad said, please, if you're in need of a doctor for emergency reasons, please call 911, and always consult your medical team as they know what is best for you. What is best for me may not be best for you. What's best for you may not be best for me. So, and with that being said, I hope everybody has had a great weekend, a great Monday, and an awesome Tuesday. Me myself, it's been terrific, guys. I did say, I believe, and I've posted before, since my last 15th injection, I'm rolling on my 16th injection Sunday. And things with the injection, guys, with the Kesimpta is going really well. And I hope everyone, I had a lot of warriors that are right behind me on my heels and even same dates of our injection. I hope you guys are staying strong and staying diligent and staying well, and well informed with your injection with the Kesimpta. Um, Today, I am going to be talking. I had something totally different mapped out. Always 2-3 days before the podcast, things come to light, or what I've been doing, things, doctor's appointments. I always keep you guys in the loop with me, and just overall, and some things hit stronger with me, and that's why I will do certain things, for the show. But I'm always open for questions. That's why I do the podcast and AG the Dad as well, is to spread awareness. There's not enough of us on social media that they're bringing it to you like me in the platform Shit Talking Sundays. So thank you, AG the Dad, for putting me on like this and spreading the word and being of support um, for the MS community and warriors like me. You guys are not alone, and I know I'm not alone. But so I've changed course. I woke up this morning and I was like, you know what? I wonder if my family and friends um, have questions, that I don't know, that they haven't asked or they haven't found out in talking to me or seeing me post or, or maybe, hi, son, welcome. So, and they may not, when someone's sick or have an illness, you may not want to ask, hey, you know, how do you feel? And how do you talk to someone and ask questions, about their illness, especially one as um, misfortunate as multiple sclerosis? Not to take away from any other diseases. There's cancer, there's leukemia, and that type of thing, but it's just I think it would be hard, talking to someone maybe that's not as close to you, about their illness, but you want to know, so I said, you know what, I passed a tablet around my house and I sent out some texts to my son, to my best friend, even to my young granddaughter, because she lives with me, and she doesn't ask me too many questions about my disease, and she lives it with me every day. She'll be 11 next month, and me and Larry have had her since she was 4.5. So, and I fell ill 5 years ago with it. So, baby girl has walked with grandma through this the last, you know, 5+ years of her little life. So she had some questions for me today too. So, um, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to do my best not to get emotional. I am. So I'm not always so emotional, but for um my life with MS, it's an emotional subject for me when it touches the people around me, you know, because not only do I live it, but my family does too. Emotionally, I'm yes. Not so much physically, but emotionally, yes. So I'm going to bring it back in when that starts to happen. So we're going to start off by Larry said. Now, Larry sees everything firsthand, the good, the bad, the ugly. Okay. Firsthand look in the morning, the last look at night. Um, yeah, he has seen it all, from me vomiting in the trash can on the side of the bed to um me peeing on myself because I'm vomiting and I need towels because I've wet the bed. He's had to carry me to the car because my left leg isn't working. He's been there, physically seen all of this for the last 5 years. The hospital stays bruised. I'm drugged up. I'm hurting. I'm numb. Everything that you could imagine going through MS, from he and I um, out of town, late nights, kicking it in bars, dancing at home, dancing around, and to being in a wheelchair, having to take a bath in a shower chair, you know. So he has seen all of that. Me broke out, in rashes on from the steroid acne, and he's had to, clean them, and in private places, and just the whole thing. He's watched this MS um life evolve, you know, around him. So he was the first one on my list that he wrote. So this is Larry's first question. He asked me, how does it feel waking up to a disease that there's no cure? Whew. Um, you know, I haven't thought too much about that there's no cure. I talk and spread awareness and pray, and I put out there and it comes out of my mouth. Hopefully there's a cure in my lifetime, not only for me, but for the people behind me, the children, my kids, because and somebody's asked that question later on the line, is it hereditary? And I'm going to wait to get to that person's question before I answer that. So the cure, and it's almost like with me now, a couple of years ago, guys, I wasn't handling MS too well at all. And I'm sure a lot of you warriors know the feeling. And of course, people with regular illness too, even depression can get you in a place that you don't want to be in. It's very frightening. Same thing with MS. Um, I've I've decided, even in my sick time, I'm fighting now. I've got better control of the will, and I refuse to go to that dark place with a mess ever again. You know, as hard as it was before, because when you are sick with this multiple sclerosis, when you're in a relapse, a flare, it's an undescribable feeling. Oh, the best way that I could describe it, guys, is my body wants to shut off, and I feel like I'm going to die. Don't ask me that feeling, because of course I've never died and came back, to say, hey, my body felt this way and da 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 da. No, but it's hard, because it's not like I have a headache, let me take ibuprofen, right? So when I have a headache, I don't think, oh, I have a tension headache, or I have a headache because I did too much today. Right away, everything with me and my body hurts is it's a reminder. Are we all grown in here? That's the fucking part that sucks. Is because those things, the symptoms remind me that I have MS. Sometimes, and it's like, shit. It's like, damn, I was feeling halfway decent. And a lot of my life, I haven't felt good. And it goes back to say, and I go back some years, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, I was stricken long time ago, guys. Long time ago. And I have, though, during my life and not feeling well, what wasn't well to me was a normal for me. One day, and I think this was since I've been diagnosed, one day I felt so fucking good. I was like, I didn't have no sickness feeling, no illness feeling. I forgot I was sick, honestly. And all of a sudden I panicked. I was like, wait a minute. What's wrong? With something's wrong. I don't feel sick. My psyche told me, you feel good. Something's wrong with you. Some of you guys can relate, and it doesn't have to be that you're stricken with MS. It could be any ailment, and you're so used to that no good feeling, you get used to it with that, so that becomes your norm, right? So when I was feeling good, I was like, I had something it just hit me like anxiety, and I was like, oh my God. And I really froze, you guys. I remember this day and what I went through mentally, and I was like, wait a minute. And I sat still, and I started paying attention to my brain function, how I was feeling. I thought something was going to happen. I thought my brain was going to explode or something because I didn't feel anything anymore. And I was like, wait a minute, it's gone. Well, is something going to happen? So um, that's kind of crazy. But this is kind of like what I go through sometimes, because all through a lot, many years of my life, I didn't feel right. Okay, doctors couldn't find out what was wrong, and the MRI machine is the last machine that they're going to put you through, because it costs thousands of dollars to run it. You know, unfortunately, for the human race, because that machine will detect something early on, and it can um you know save a lot of people's lives. So it's hard when I think about a cure. I don't think about a cure. I think about what's down the line for me. It is hard once I think about it, but I I think about right now my life that I'm still living, and I'm okay. So the cure part, sure, I wish there were a cure in my time, and if it doesn't happen in my time, I'm hoping that the scientists and technology will find a cure for people after me. Question number 2: how often do you reminisce on life before MS? Every day. Every day. And it's not a bad reminisce. You know how some people reminisce, and they're reminiscing because they miss, or they feel sad because of what they used to do that they can't do. No, I don't reminisce in that retrospect, because um I'm content with who I am. So, um, I still the little things that I am still able to do, I'm grateful. I am grateful, you guys, just to get up and put my own clothes on and put some makeup on, or make me a sandwich. That is humbling. So, am I able to rip and run like I did before? I can't even go shopping, you guys, on my own 2 feet. Okay. So I can for maybe 10 minutes, and then I'm out. And I have to be out before I'm literally out, that type of thing. But there's ways now that do things around my house and outside that I've had to come to terms with and navigate through, this course of my life, the 5 years till now. Things have changed drastically, of course. And I would say for the better. Um, this day that I'm living in now with the Kesimpta, this month makes a year that I've been on Kesimpta, and I haven't felt better. Yes, I have had not relapse in a year, a flare just in April, but that beats a relapse. That beats having new lesions at this point. In a year, 12 months, I'm grateful. It's humbling. Okay. You never know in life what brings you to that humble sign until you experience it. So for me, um, I've I've done a lot. I've had times right now that I could say those were the best times of my life. So I have happy moments in my life. I have all that. I have all that in my heart and under my belt. So, um, things that I do thus forward is all up to me. What my future memories are going to be, you know. Even though I have MS. So that's and you guys learn a lot about me and the things that I'm doing now and incorporating and taking the wheel on MS. Even though sometimes, I got to shift my gear to neutral and be like, Okay, well, today we're not doing anything, but in 2 days we'll catch up. So it's all about acceptance. You have to accept the MS life. For some, I know, and I don't take anything away from being from those warriors who are bedbound, wheelchair bound, and just totally stricken and paralyzed, because you can be paralyzed from MS. So a lot of us aren't as fortunate, So I'm speaking on my personal journey with this disease. Um, so of course I miss dancing late nights. I just, of course, that, but I am to that age also to where I've already, done all that, so I'm not missing out on anything, you know. Um, I have family that support me greatly. I have great relationships with family, and I have the greatest guy that I could have ever imagined, for in my life, So um my life is okay. So question number 3. Um how much more now that you're sick do you cherish every moment in life? Uh so much. It hits different. You think about oh, already did that. Okay. I think even just in generally growing older, it changes your thought process. Things kind of hit home differently because, you know, it's no secret we're not all going to live forever. So you um think about those things, and you change a little bit. There's I've got grandkids now, that are growing up and that are young, and to make sure I have relationships with them is very important, you know, for both of us. So it's a maturity process as you age that changes um the things that you cherish the most. Does it make you think about doing more because you're sick? And that's just with any disease, guys. It's not just with multiple sclerosis. I could outlive anybody who doesn't suffer from an ailment, becomes sick, or heart disease and stuff like that. So um from what I've learned and what I've gathered is um, life expectancy with someone with multiple sclerosis to someone that's not stricken with that disease is a 7-year difference, supposedly, statistically, So, hey, you know, there's no, can you, and this may be a topic for a different show, but you know, not everybody, excuse me, not everybody who has multiple sclerosis dies from multiple sclerosis. That's not the case. Some people can have complications due to multiple sclerosis and pass away in that sense, but not everybody passes away from multiple sclerosis. Again, and this is where I could say education is key. Education is key. Education is key because then you learn how to live the disease and not let the disease live you. There's hope for every one of us, every last one of us. Your how you choose to live that life with the MS and your education and what you do to live that curve, because every day it is a curve, for us warriors. It's uphill battle, downslide mountain, all of that, but it's how you look at your life, how you look at life is key. Okay, so that's Larry's questions. So here comes my baby Angelise, who's my granddaughter who I raised. Me and Larry raises her. She'll be 11 in June. So this is what she asked her grandma. She says, How do you feel when you're in the hospital? And if anybody knows me, really knows me, they know take me to the hospital. Hospital is home away from home. And that's where I feel, especially when I'm sick, that's where I need to be. That place is the only place that's going to fix what's going on with my disease at that point. Not my neurologist. They can't do anything for me in their office. Not my regular physician. My regular physician isn't a neurologist or nor a MS specialist. So that's why I have two separate doctors, because you guys know, you get it. And so um nobody could treat me for my flare or a relapse. You have to go to the ER, or you have to go to a hematology oncology center where they do the infusions for cancer. You go there and they'll do your infusion. Okay. So actually, I almost had to go there before, but the hospital ended up agreeing just to admit me and do the solumedrol and throw me out in 5 days. So um, the hospital stay, I know that's where I'm going to get better. Don't like the food. So, I'm always having Larry, can you stop and give me KFC? Can you bring me some McDonald's? That kind of thing. And actually, I know that's the best place for me. And that I'm going to be taken care of. I don't like taking the long MRI tests. Mine are usually 2.5 to 4 hours, because they do the head, neck, and spine. Takes too long. And they're going to give me a muscle relaxer because so I don't claw my way out or want to get out and stop the testing. So, and that test is the only test, that can determine, do I have activity on my brain, in my neck, and my spine? Activity means, are my lesions active and causing that flare or that relapse? Relapse is new lesions on your brain, left, right, neck, spinal cord, and which I have lesions left, right side of my brain, multiple, and down my neck. I think I have 3 lesions on my neck and a few down my spine. I'm not sure how many, guys, but um, uh, it's plenty. So but anyway, the hospital is where I feel, good, that I'm gonna get they're gonna get me back, on the good foot, and I'm gonna feel better, once I go home. So Angelisa's second question is, how do you feel when you just down and sick really bad with multiple sclerosis? um I've never been sick with anything else, so I don't know what anything else feels like. But MS sickness, guys, it's hard. Hard, 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 because your body wants to quit. You have those mixed signals because your body is not those signals between your brain and your limbs and just your overall movement, speech, thought process, your vision, all that is affected. So you feel like your body is not working right and there's nothing you can do. You got to let it run its course, or the medicines make you feel better. Um, the key for me is not overdoing it and knowing your limits. I've learned that, and I do things in increments. Okay. I do something if I can, then I take a break from it. Even if I give it a whole day break, I do that. I don't worry and rush and think, now that's something I've had to come to terms with. But because I don't feel good with the disease, I'm okay with that. I'm like, no, that's going to wait, but I've come to terms with that, and I feel okay with it. Opposed to me before MS, oh, I wouldn't dare leave my kitchen half painted, and do it in increments. But I wanted to prove to myself that I can still function when I can. when my body, when my brain, and when this disease is in the back seat and it's letting me, you know, be in the forefront and get some things done, whatever it is, laundry, watering the front yard, sweeping the kitchen floor, um, hanging laundry, putting some clothes on the hanger, anything. It's just moderations, and patience for your body and mind to give you that time of wellness to be able to do that. Okay. So that was the last question of Angelisa's. So now we're going to move on to my son's question. And Andy says, um, what do I worry about most with multiple sclerosis? Sheesh. Um, Honestly, son, the 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 worst thing I worry about is if I can't breathe. If something were to happen, if you warriors know, or if you don't know, a lot of us are stricken with breathing issues with MS. Um, I don't smoke anymore. July will be 2 years. My lungs are good from what the doctor says. I actually have a lung test to go do. The hematology is sending me over there to have a lung screening done. But overall, I've never had problems with my lungs or anything of that nature. But since I've had MS, my my lung capacity to move about freely and it's not good. It's not bad to where I'm like, no, not like that. But I notice a difference, So my physical affects my breathing, you know. uh, uh, and sometimes more than other times when I'm not feeling well, when my symptoms are really acting up. That is one issue. I could be doing just a little slight something, or even in a conversation, and have to take a couple of deep breaths to catch up. So when I'm not feeling too good, that's affected. But what I can say is prior prior from giving up cigarettes, I could inhale, but it hurt my lungs to expand. I couldn't get a good um with air capacity in, and that has changed dramatically in this almost 2 years. I don't miss the cigarettes at all. I haven't cheated either, and I just knew when I tried to smoke at the last point. I had just come out of the hospital on a relapse, and I tried to smoke when I got home. I thought I was going to die. I did. I thought I wasn't going to make it from outside back into the house. So that was the best thing that I could have done for my disease. So my lung capacity, I was proud of myself the other day. I was at the doctor's, and the doctor said, "Oh, take a deep breath." I was like inhaling, and I was like, "Woo, you go, girl! You getting that air in there." So I was not able to do that before. It hurt actually to breathe, take in really, really deep breaths. Okay, so that's one thing for me on a personal um level that I don't want to experience on my journey with MS, or become paralyzed from MS and not be able to um and to be bed bound and not, it just be paralyzed, and machines keeping me alive and all that stuff. And so that worries me. um Andy's second question is, am I afraid that the relationship between Larry and everyone will fade if something happens to me behind MS? Um, of course, because he's, and I wouldn't say the closest thing to me, because I'm very close to my son very, very close to my son. He knows everything. I talk to him every day. Um, I hope the relationship doesn't fade because um, I think since I've been sick, that those relationships are different with the people that I'm involved with, that is closest to me, because of the dynamic of that, of my life every day. So it would really be up to um you men to keep the relationship going, because it's like one of those things, like just with anyone in people's family. A lot of people said, I've said it, I've heard so many people in my family say it. Sometimes you only see family members at funerals. And a lot of people say, well, it takes a funeral to see you and my family. Hey, welcome, Steph. And it's sad that sometimes we have to say those things, you know, about funerals. And, I it's sad that, that happens. And I'm sure other people hear it too, but it's it's those things that, um when you have respect for someone, for who they are and what they've meant to you in your life, those relationships are the ones that you don't let go of. So we have a special dynamic between me, Larry, my son, Puka Butt, Vanessa, Cheeky Butt, Papa, my grandkids that we're raising, and Stephanie, and because they all know what this man means to me and what my son means to me. So, um sometimes relationships needs, some work, and it's just little work. Sometimes it's only a phone call, and um because Larry's, and I'm not taking anything away from my son, to say the least, but I'm just thinking in physical, every day, because Larry's here and he's the one that picks me up when I'm down, and physically, every day. And my son has witnessed bad days, of course, him and his family and his daughter. And my Puka Butt right now, you guys, she's sick. They're at the hospital. She had a fever a couple days ago, and now she's got a really bad cough. So we're hoping there's no pneumonia or anything. So I hope my little Pook will be better and nothing. Um, they give her some medicine and send them home, hopefully. But and her Catalina, that's my granddaughter. That's Andy's daughter, Andy and Vanessa's daughter, and she's so, grandma can't be sick. It hurts her. It hurts my Puka Butt bad, really bad, and she worries about me. And she's only 7. She's got an old spirit. Um, so that, um, yes, relationships, they're just important, all together, and Andy may feel that Larry's the closest thing to him, about for me, you know if something were to happen to me. Of course, I get that. You know what I mean? So, and reason being, and I'm going to keep it real, and I'm sure my son would agree, and probably Stephanie too. People that know me know my life. Um, there's not anybody else, I wouldn't say unfortunately, and I have 2 other kids, but they're caught up, in addiction right now. So mom's not a priority. So little Andy, he is forefront out of my 3 kids, and Larry is the one that has been by my side for the last 12 years. So of course, um, I know that Andy would be bothered or feel, that wouldn't want the relationship to fade, and Larry either, because that's my son. So the next best thing to me would be my son. So it's like, man, talking to Andy would be like, man, talk, I feel your mom through you, and he can relate to Larry as, because man, you took care of my mom all these years. So to me, it's very important. Not only is he that, but he's the kids' grandpa too, you know. And so it's a big deal. It's a big deal for the adults after to remain, um that relationship remain solid. Okay, so that's it for the questions from my son. So now here is a friend of ours that we consider family, because her name is Mary, and she's like a grandmother to my grandkids. So her question is how does it affect people, and of what ages? And is MS hereditary? Okay, so MS, as you guys know, affects you from thinking, your optic, your your speech, your swallowing, your immobility, your legs, your incontinence. Um, it if so, just let me say this: it attacks your brain and your spinal cord. So picture if those signals start to break up. Okay, so you stomach issues, organ issue, just everything, because of course your spinal and your brain control every realm of your body. So that's where we lose signal. Any anyone can get MS. There's no age group, but um it the onset is between 20 to 40 years old. Statistically, this is what the scientists have determined, that um, onset usually happens between the age of 20 and 40 years years old. Okay. Um, and it has been said that it is not hereditary. Now, listen to how I say this, because I did the research, and I'm like, what? Okay, so they say it's not likely to be hereditary, but although the chance of someone's child or sibling having a diagnosis with MS, if you have MS, okay? Hmm. So that makes me scratch my head, guys. Really. It did when I was doing the research, and I was like, what? Even when I was writing it, and I was like, wait a minute. And even saying it word for word, um, is just like, wait a minute. Okay, if it's not hereditary, on what level? I mean, how did they determine that if a parent has MS and the child, but it's not hereditary, a child can be born with MS, or a sibling? I don't know, you guys, on that one. I'm kind of that just kind of boggled me a little bit, but um, they, and I don't even want to get on this topic. What are they saying that causes the MS? I've read and heard so many different stories. I don't know which one to believe. I really don't at this point, because um, as our technology evolves, um, they find different ways to find out answers. So then they come up with different reasonings. What could have caused, la, 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 la. So, um, and I'll tell you, 10, 15 years ago, they were blaming multiple sclerosis on a virus that you caught, and that your immune system didn't turn off after fighting the virus or an infection, And that's because that's what MS is. Our own immune system is attacking our nerve system. Don't that sound simple? Okay, shut it off. Right? Fix it, repair it, and shut it off and repair, you know? So don't that sound just so easy, guys? Well, turn the sucker off, you know? So that's but it's so easy to turn off the immune system. The key symptom I'm on shuts off my immune system. Okay. But where this went wrong years ago is you could have a mess for 10 years. In every story I've heard live and in research, that 10 years, that's that 10-year mark where you could add 10 years prior. If you have no symptoms or no reason for your doctors to put you through an MRI machine, you're not going to know. That's what happened to me. And I'm sure a lot of my warriors out there. It's just it is what it is. And you know, like I said earlier, hope they find a cure while I'm still living. If not, soon after for the people coming behind me. Okay. So, um that's that was let me see. That was Mary's questions. And actually the sorry, the rest of the answer to her question was um sibling or child, 2 or 3 out of 100. Okay. That's that's a lot of people out of 100, but it's not hereditary. Hmm. Make you say, right? So yeah. Um, I've read so many different papers out of Harvard, out of Ohio, shoot, many others. And it's just always I've even seen some say, oh yes, it's hereditary, but then it's not. And I'm like, okay, so just because, but then not everyone. So does that make it, that makes you kind of skeptic and or be like, okay, was I sick one point and did my kid catch that sickness too and then end up years maybe after me, then one of my kids develop it? Scary. Scary, guys. Scary. Doctors need to do better in protecting us like these machines. Years ago, you couldn't get a lung screening. There wasn't no such thing. So now they check you for lung cancer. Ain't that terrible? We're in 2022 when they just told me, oh, you want a lung screening? Why? Do I have cancer? Lung cancer? No. Do you to check to make sure you don't? Why do you didn't offer me this 40 years ago? So times have evolved, things have changed, but still, in fact, you see how things go. So I, um, it's so important to be coherent about your body, guys. My kids, I worry about my grandkids, my friends, my family. You have to be, education is key. You got to know your stuff so you can take care of you. Okay, so um, let's see. Stephanie says, this is her question. It's my best friend. Okay. Me and her go way back. Um, Four flats on a Cadillac. We go way back. Um, she says, years ago, do I think that the pain I had in my legs and my arms and the frequent headaches were MS then? Um, to go and think back then, did I ever have an MRI back then? And I did when I was 32, I believe, when they found the brain tumor. Okay. So then I didn't have spots on my brain. So as just the record would state, no. But years after that, um, and I can't tell you just how far back, then I would say, yeah, things pinpointed to the last 20-25 years. Yes, I was having symptoms. Okay. And now that I was diagnosed, then I know what it was, knowing that what the disease has done to me, what it does to all my warriors, and how it afflicts us. Yeah, I suffered long before my diagnosis. Okay, and she says, and if the doctors did testing back then, would it had shown? Yes, yes, it would have shown, because all it took for my I had symptoms, and they wanted to rule out a stroke and any bleeds on the brain. So when they put me in through that MRI machine, a couple hour test, that was even before the lumbar puncture. My lumbar puncture I had twice to get a clinical diagnosis, and the surgeon couldn't get any fluid off my spine. So I went clinically undiagnosed, but MRI showed different. Okay. So without a diagnosis, they weren't going to treat me for it. So 10 years later, bam, it hit me. So sure, they would have. And her question is, if they would have treated me, would I be this far along in the disease? So this is what I know. Thank God, and even at my age, there's four stages. I wouldn't say stages, four types of MS. And the progressive MS is um, basically you're wheelchair bound, and your symptoms don't stop. They go and they go and they go and they get worse. Thank the Lord, Jesus. Thank you. Give the glory to you, Lord. I was diagnosed with remitting, relapsing multiple sclerosis. That means I have relapses. My symptoms, my relapses come and then they go. I come back to baseline. So this is where you guys, or you want to come back to baseline. So this is where, um, the differences are. There's multiple sclerosis where you have your attacks and you don't come back to baseline, and you stay and you progressively get worse. There's medications that all of us warriors on. They don't cure multiple sclerosis, but they stop progression. Okay. So, but from statistics and reads, they say that every warrior gets to progression down the line. Okay. That doesn't mean, and to me, I could pass from something else, not from progressive primary multiple sclerosis. So there it is there. Boom. So so that was Steph's question, in which that was a really good question. Okay. Um, no stopping, but slowing the progression is what these DMTs, disease modifying treatments, that's what they do. They slow the progression, meaning every year that you don't have a relapse, then your progression is slowed because you're not getting any worse. Your flares, of course, flares can make you worse at that time, but flares stop. Flares stop. That just means your symptoms are exacerbated from stress, heat, um, just anything. It can overdoing your body, overworking your mind, the brain. Things can trigger that flare, but it's not new damage. It's your old damage in wreaking havoc on your body. Okay. So, okay. So Steph, I hope I answered all your questions right. And let's see. And can you have MS for 10 years and not know until an MRI is done or a lumbar puncture and have a clinical diagnosis? Yeah, and I just kind of answered all that, right? So, yes, you could have it for 10 years or more, or more. And then at that point, they will, clinically diagnose you. Um, so that is exactly how to determine clinically. The doctors have to do the lumbar test, or in my case, the MRI showed predominant spots in the area where MS strikes. So without that lumbar puncture, I was still diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 10 years later. Okay. So 10 years later. So guys, if anybody is AG, maybe I'll let you close me out, man. AG the dad, if you have a question that you want to know about my life with MS, now's your chance, friend, to ask. Is he taking a
Well,
nap?
no, not at all. I don't really have too many questions, but I do. I guess I can create one.
Okay.
So for you, um, I'm going to assume you have a permanent insurance, like you're on some type of Social Security or something at this point because of your disease,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What about people who don't have Social Security or a from
Right.
now until they die medical coverage?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do I mean? And how would you feel if your medical insurance was cut off?
Mm. Mm-mm-mm. Um,
Because I mean,
that
I'm sure that's some people's reality. So
yes,
I'm just
it
curious,
is.
how would you feel? Remember, this isn't advice or
Ooh,
medical.
that just I got the chills right now
This is
thinking
just,
about that.
hey, I'm trying to make people think outside the box. For me,
Mhm.
I want you to, I want people to think, that's a good question. Because, healthcare is such a big
Mm.
topic in this world. And, from what I understand in
Mm.
Canada, everybody has healthcare.
Right.
So they don't worry about some of the same things that some of the people in the United States worry about, which is kind of crazy. Us being
Mm-hmm.
uh, the most powerful nation on
Mm.
the planet, but we can't make sure that every American citizen
Yeah,
has
has
health.
affordable health care. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
not even afford. It's not even the point that it's affordable. It's why people go without the ability to have health care. I mean, our tax
Mm-hmm.
dollars should go towards that,
Towards that.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
out the
I
gate.
agree. I agree. And
So,
that is so scary because you know how many times a year I have to have an MRI? Oh my God. I've been in I can't even count how many times in 5 years. Um and fortunately I don't pay for that. My medication is 8 grand a month for one shot. My injection once a month is 8 grand. I have any medication I've been on has not been much cheaper. It's always been in the 6,500 range to right now 8,000, not 800, 8,000. Um,
see,
and the testing and all that stuff, the hospital stays and all that stuff it's just I know what it's like to be sick and not be on medication. So
mhm,
I could not imagine now, AG, the feeling that I would have to endure knowing I cannot afford that medicine. That's why on a prior show, put out there that the companies that make these medications, they have programs that will help you pay for either the copay or they cover all the cost. Okay.
mhm,
There are programs that work with you to pay for that because that this medicine is basically kind of a do or die. The medicine I'm on, they give it to cancer treatments in a higher dose. This lower dose serves purpose, but higher is given to people with cancer. Okay. This medicine is basically kind of a life or death situation because if we don't get it, we're going to die. The MS will consume and just riddle our brains, our spinal cord. We won't be able to move. We'll be paralyzed. We won't be able to eat, drink. We'll be on feeding tubes. I've had to sign papers of long-term care, because of this disease. And could you imagine if there was no medicine to stop the progression?
You know what
So
made me ask that question? So, it reminds me of a Will Smith movie, Concussion.
Mm,
Those the guys who died on that show committed suicide. Those football players.
yeah.
Um, they didn't have the proper protocols in place for
Yes.
people who sustained concussions.
Concussion. Yeah.
So I can only imagine the people that came. I mean, even if you take it all the way back and just get rid of all that, think real even deeper. All the medications that we take for granted right now, they
Mm-hmm.
didn't have in the early 1900s. You
Mm-mm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
the common cold, they went through it on generations of passed down remedies,
Mm-hmm.
natural herbs and stuff. And
Well, last week, remember we talked. I had a read on
Mhm,
how they diagnosed someone with MS. They didn't have the MRI. They put you in a hot tub of water and waited for
mhm,
your symptoms to to act up, and then that's how
mhm.
they diagnosed you. That's crazy. So thank God times have changed and evolved, but the medical question is, I've seen it over and over and over and time again. I am on so many social platforms of multiple sclerosis awareness, and there's people that are not as fortunate as myself to be here in the United States, because in other parts of the world, states, there's no Kesimpta. There's no certain medications, you guys, for our disease. People
So,
have to leave their country to go get treated for this.
okay. Now, do you think because the narrative for you
Hmm.
is that Kesimpta for you is working, I'm assuming, right?
It is.
Um, in another country, because who's to say there's some type of censorship that's only allowing you to get access to certain medicines
Hmm.
that maybe in, let's take a rich nation, well, a rich location like Dubai, where there's a lot of big money.
Hmm.
Do those people have access to a different form of Consimta that might be not even discussed on the average consumer level?
There's all different kinds of reasons why. And you wouldn't think, say Canada. You would think, okay, we hear Canada all the time. It's not a foreign country to us, but they don't have the medicines there for whatever their reasons are. In the UK, people can't get treated for MS with the medicines that the United States people are getting treated with.
But wait, so what I'm saying about that is, so who's to say that the medicines that the United States are giving you are not, that are, who's to say that they're not better or better? You know,
Hmm.
that another country, their treatment method might be working and curing, and America, and I'm not, this isn't fact, I'm just
Hmm.
hypothesizing. Who's to say that the American treatment that you're getting is not just, like you say, slowing it down,
Hmm.
opposed to fighting it and killing it, like maybe potentially another country is. Have you
Okay.
have you seen the ratio to see if, is there other countries who are treating MS on a different uh, direction, and have you seen results, or has it ultimately been the United States has the most superior treatment programs to date?
What I can say, what I know, and from talking with many, many warriors across from United States to Singapore, the names are all the same, not eligible for all countries. I don't know why that is. I don't know. It's a factor. Well, one factor is that people can't afford it. There's not, like the California care here. It's not provided in other countries. There's some countries that, like Canada, they give free health care. Here, There's people still paying copays. People are still paying $2,000 a month copay for that $8,000 injection. So it differs on countries with their healthcare reform and all that. That plays a big part because a lot of companies they don't cover that. They're not giving it
Mhm.
to you free in the UK. You can't get it in the UK. So there's many factors, but from what I know in the last 5 years, I've heard the same medications. I haven't heard that um, in Singapore you can't get it. So I haven't heard any foreign name of DMT in a different country that United States isn't using. And
Mhm.
there's many here. There's many. There's oral forms, there's injections, there's infusions. So, it's a matter of an insurance thing, or a lot of countries you can't get it. So that's a fight between manufacturers dealing with people out of states. Those big pharmaceutical companies out of state. I
Okay.
have Yeah.
So
Hey,
if a
Jason.
if a pharmaceutical company came to you and said, "Hey, we have this experimental cure. It says that it should cure you, and there is a what percentage chance would you be okay with taking this medication if they told you the possibility of death is X? Like 10%
Mm-hmm.
chance of fatality if you take this medication, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's a 90% chance of curing you.
Right.
Or if they said, hey, it's a 50-50, 50% says that it's going to knock out all that stuff, but in the process, it's going to kill your immune system, in which is going to kill you. Or it's going to be a 50 that's going to knock them out, your body's going to recuperate, and you're back to normal. Would 50-50 be too high of a gamble for you to take and risk
No,
being the lab rat?
no, you know why? The medicines, it is a hard choice, Jason. Just real quick, and Andy says to his question that I responded when I read his answers, says yes, he has, and he continues to do so. I appreciate Grandpa L to the fullest. I know, son, he's a terrific guy. Jason, hard choice. Yes, yes, yes. But AG, to your question, do me a favor before my next show Tuesday. Do a read on Kesimpta. Look at the side effects. I live every day. I have to make choice, and I've had to make 4 choices in 5 years for the less of the evils. I'm taking a medicine right now that I can get that I'm at higher risk because I'm on the medicine to get a fatal brain infection. And I gave you guys the word in the beginning of the show when I talked about the symptom, the side effects. It's the PML. I can't multifocal something, and we're more susceptible to it because of this medication. I have to have blood work done every 3 months to make sure my liver's not shutting down. These are the choices that every warrior has to make. There's no medicine AG out there. I've researched them all. There's no medicine out there that has no death risk involved. There's one that's for the heart. Your heart is at risk. There's one that your kidneys can go out and, okay, you can get rid of one kidney. What happens when you're on dialysis and your other one stops working? We all know what happens. So there's serious choices, and that's why so many warriors and myself, it's so hard making a choice to be on these medications. What other choice do we have? Sure, there's herbal, there's a marijuana, medicinal and stuff, but that only suppresses and cures to a certain degree. This disease is a progressive disease. So every day that I wake up and stuff, I come across me during the day thinking, like, okay, My test came out good. My blood work is good. I'm feeling, okay. Like right now, some tests came back as abnormal. Okay, I have some abnormal cells that just came back, and my doctor is sending me to go because of the medication I'm on. He's sending me to a specialist. So if those cells need to be zapped, they're going to get zapped. But it's because of these medicines that they're taking precautions for, because of the possibility for leukemia and cancers. We're more susceptible to these fatal diseases behind us trying to live a healthier, longer life to our expectancy with multiple sclerosis. During the meantime, while we're living this life, we're stricken with all under the sun, not being able to function correctly, immobility. We speak about this, all the time, and my warriors know out there. It's just we have to choose. How do you choose one when they all have these major risk factors?
Right.
It's hard. It really is, and you have to come to terms with that, because if something happens while you're on this medicine, it's not the doctor's fault. You can't blame them. You can't blame the pharmaceutical company that makes these. You had to make the choice. Your doctor gives you the choice. They don't tell you you're going to take this. They can't, because of the risks involved. You have to do the research. You have to ask questions.
Mm.
Education is key, and that's part of this. That's why it's so important to take care of you being on these medications, because there's so much involved. My platelet count right now is rising, rising, rising. I just went and seen a hematologist and oncology, because to check the bone marrow, they didn't feel that at this point that they want to check my bone marrow for leukemias or cancer, because they checked my markers 2 years ago. So they're not going to put me through it, but they're going to monitor me on it. And at the same time, at a different office, abnormal cells came back.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're sending me to go, check, and those are with my female parts. I still have them all, but there's some abnormal cells there, and they're sending me to a specialist. So, and it's because of the medications I'm on. They're concerned, because you know
Right.
these, because of these drugs. So it's a damn if you do, damn if I don't. So um it's stops the progression, but we're at risk for other things. And also the Kesimpta causes upper respiratory. And see, Jason says scary stuff for sure. It is. It can cause. When I first started Kesimpta, you guys, and I don't know if my warriors experience this too. It gave me sores in my nose, my throat hurt. All this stuff is side effects. Okay, and all that stuff can cause. Oh, we can get I forgot the name, but it's a skin infection. So we have to pay attention to, our skin and everything. And this is just because we're on a medicine that's supposed to do us justice, you know.
That's the
So
crazy part about it. Because back in the day, when science wasn't where science is now,
right.
natural herbs and remedies. Um, I'm not going to
w-
say that they're
We're
going to cure
used.
everything, but
Yeah.
some of them, some of the, if you dig deep in some of these articles, I'm not saying that they're as fact and truth. So do your research, but it
Mm-hmm.
does seem like some companies or powers that be do not want natural herbal medicine to become too far in the forefront
Mm-mm.
because
Put
it
people
takes,
out of business.
yeah, I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Sometimes I
Yeah.
mean, some things they can't stop.
Right.
The medical marijuana, I think, is a good thing, especially
I do too.
when you're dealing with um, autism and some
Mm-hmm.
neurological disabilities
Mm-hmm.
because it helps. That's
Yeah.
why. that's why, the fact you don't partake in cannabis for helping you, um, have you ever asked about it? Like, have you said, would this be a better fit for me than Kesimpta even?
Right. For me, no. Only for the fact is because I don't have no experience with either neither one, medicinal or recreational, ever in
Mhm.
my life. So, but
So
knowing
what's
what
the
I
research say?
um there's a lot of positive. A lot of people, here's what I see in talking with warriors across the globe about medicinal is they're what they get is relief. They see more relief than at that point about progression from what I for the people that I have spoken with. But sometimes what we suffer, some suffer during the day, that they need that. That works for them. Some people say the medicinal doesn't do anything for them. So it's one of those things that you will have to try. Some people don't. I belong to a herbal MS group. Okay,
Mhm.
just to I'm not down with the herbals or anything. I'm okay with the medicines right now at this point. But to know what's out there and how it's affecting people like me, that's why I research and talk to people and stuff. So there isn't, and I can't say right now that it hasn't worked for anybody. No, I see
Mhm.
a lot of positive from people. But for me at the time, and even now, because of my pain and the severity, I would be afraid to switch over because of the progression factor.
Mm.
If things were to change with pain and stuff, I would consider medicinal, even though I don't like to get loaded. It growing up, when it was my time to smoke at that age, I was paranoid. It didn't mean that didn't get along, but now I'm more older, mature in the medicinal side. I would give it a try.
Okay. Well, then let's take away the medicinal side and let's just go to CBD.
Right.
Medical studies have shown that CBD has a lot of medical benefits.
Hmm.
I don't know if they necessarily would fit for MS, but I
Right.
would assume that some of the symptoms that you're having, certain types of CBD, I think would maybe help to combat
Alleviate. Alleviate.
on a more
Hmm.
natural um,
Yeah. Standpoint.
method. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like I said,
Right.
I'm not a doctor. I just was curious to know because I know that CBD is starting to be a big thing. And
Hmm.
speaking of CBD, there's a company that I'm thinking about getting involved with, that has a delivery service to of CBD for people who have ailments.
Hmm.
Um, and right now they're only going to be operating in 3 states. But as soon as I have more information on it, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit
Yeah.
more if that's something that the viewers out there are interested in, maybe finding out more about.
Right. Now, I'm gonna just chime in with Jason real quick, and I'm gonna call it a night, guys. Jason says I have experience with weed, just not a good fit for me personally. It's never off the table though. See, so it's really just about preference and choice, and also when you are dealing with pain management with doctors, you cannot be on any of those. They don't allow it, medicinal or not, they don't allow it. So, and for
That's
us, and
but they can't say something to you if you're on CBD.
you can't, you can't. You sign,
CBD, but
you have to
CBD is not
sign
illegal.
papers. You have
And
to sign papers
Uh-huh.
monthly. And
This says you will not mess with any form of cannabis.
no, they test you if you have alcohol in your system, weed in the
Um,
alcohol, like really, alcohol. Okay, take
but
for
CBD is
instance.
not going to come up as an. I don't think it's going to test as an opiate because as a driver, uh,
Mhm.
if you were to take CBD, you're not going to piss dirty.
Okay, I'm gonna research it because that is good something to know. My nephew is a big CBD guy on weed maps and all that stuff. And he had given me some cream before because of my burning of my skin and stuff. I never used it because I was afraid that I would test and it would be, all
You,
bad with my doctors and
you
stuff
just got to see what if there's any THC in the
in it.
CBD.
Right.
But
And
most cases,
supposedly, no.
I think the percentage is so low that it doesn't register. But I think all CBD has a certain level of it, but it's so
Uh,
little that it doesn't
you won't.
register. You'd
Yeah.
have to you'd have to consume so much that it would
To
be.
get in your system or get loaded. Jason says, Jason, tell me why okay that you've tried CBD is just not a good fit for you either. So what was your experience with the CBD? It just didn't help you with what you used it for pain. And where did you use it on? Like, did you eat it, the drops, because I know there's drops. um and then you have the creams, they make all that stuff now.
CBD, if he was doing for pain, I'm sure it was um, some type of cream.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Although is some CBD. Actually, I'm pretty sure you could take the CBD in every form. It'll, depending how it just affects you differently by the way that it's delivered.
Right.
Topical is going to
Exactly.
be more numbing and
Uh-huh.
that because it's going to absorb into your system that way. I'm assuming, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I don't even assume to be educated in CBD. So please consult a professional if you want to be involved in anything like that. But
Exactly.
with that being said, if you're out there and you are on CBD or cannabis for MS or any other um, medical reason, reach
Mm-hmm.
out to us. I'm curious to know what you're going through
Right.
and
And
how.
just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Okay, Jason said it didn't help you enough. Got it. Now this, and I don't know if this is true and correct, but my dad is 82 years old. He'll be 83. He
Oh,
lives under my roof. He smoked weed all his life. He still smokes weed. This man don't wear glasses. And I always say that weed is keeping his eye health because he 82 years old. My mom wear glasses. I wear glasses. He's still up walking around, and he's a little old crickety, but still, and he smokes his little weed daily.
you know, the reason why he's probably still walking around and doing everything that he's doing is because he's been walking around and doing whatever he wanted. If he would have sat his butt down someplace, he wouldn't be walking around no more. Let me tell you, my dad, you know, for me, tomorrow um, is going to be a very hard day for me. Tomorrow will mark my father's 1 year
Mm.
anniversary from when he passed. So for
Oh.
me, um, all I could say to people out there, my father did not exercise in his latter years.
Hmm.
And the men out there that I know that are still in the gym, were his friends, um, they're in the gym.
Hmm.
Uh, there's a guy out there. I call him my uncle. Um, him and his wife still go to the gym, and he's in his 80s.
Dang.
and he still drives his wife around. I just had lunch with him, a breakfast lunch, if you want to call it, um, last week,
Mm,
and great man. He has so many stories that he could tell
I
you about.
bet.
But I'm telling you that people out there, you need to keep moving, because if you don't, you will
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah.
You
Um,
will.
since, and I mentioned this last week, since my last injection was my 15th injection, and this is a side effect of that. And I've never experienced it in the year that I've been injecting, but my joints hurt really bad. They still do, especially when I'm sleeping. I need to turn over. Everything is just hurting. If I sit down, I go to get up, my legs, my knees, just at my joints, man, are freaking killing me. And I'm like, and it's hard. I can't get up, and it takes me a while to get up and move. And I'm in pain today. I was in pain, and I still needed to do things. So I took an ibuprofen, nothing strong, because I still needed to function. But this thing, and then not being able to work out because of, I just can't move, and the weight of things. Now I'm doing some strengthening. I have little hand weights and stuff like that. And my growing thing from me trying to exercise before, we believe that's what kicked that off. That's way better. Finally, just up till recently. I know you guys heard me complain about that. So I'm really scared and worried about this left side, but I know I did tell you guys, and in a post on my other page, I am looking to go to physical therapy. Hopefully my neuro will send me June 2nd. So I am going to be working a little bit with just strengthening. I feel my core getting weaker and weaker. This last flare, it took away something from me. And you know how you know your body. So, and I'm like, man, I'm sure weak there now, and I wasn't before. So yes, stay moving. When I sit down too long, I hurt. When I get up, I'm stiff, and I'm like, damn, my leg doesn't want to bend.
Mm.
So I totally agree with you, AG. You got to keep that oil moving in that body, so to speak. And I'm all for that, and I am looking to incorporate that in my life. I'm going to go back to it. I tried a couple months ago. It's been about 3 months, but when that groin acted up, I've had to let that heal, but I'm going to go back at it. And on that note, um, Jason, this is, I'm going to hit with Jason with this about the pain in the body. And then I'm going to say my peace out to everybody. So Jason says, I'm not in a lot of pain or anything, just craps like through my body. I have it all. I do. If you guys see here, I have no collarbone still, and it feels like somebody's pressing from the inside. This side, you see that lump here. This side has been really, look at that. Just, I'm a linebacker. Somebody need a linebacker. But I try and do my best, and I don't sulk and bask in the misery of this, because it's going to consume me. I was already once there; it was taking over me, and I'm refusing. I'm going to fight, and I want all my warriors out there to fight, fight, fight. If you fall and you cry, get back up, damn it, and go at it again. With that being said, everyone, please take care of you. If you don't, who will? Okay. You guys got to hear a little bit in my side tonight with some questions from family and friends, and just more and more every Tuesday. You guys get to know a little bit more and more about me, and I get to know a little bit more about you. So thank you, everyone, tonight for joining in. AG the dad, thank you so much for being my outlet of spreading my
No
journey with
problem.
MS and being there for everyone that we can reach. Don't forget, guys, without your support, without that like, without that subscribe, hit that like button. We can reach so many warriors like you and myself, someone that may need the support from you, me, AG the dad. This is why this platform exists. Without you,
Hmm.
it's not possible. So please take the time. It's free. Just press those buttons.
Yep,
You
yep,
always,
yep.
Jason, you always get me with that. Oh, this side. Bam. No. So, with that
Hmm.
said, with that being said, guys, I appreciate you, and I'm sending you the warrior love. Peace out, guys. Till next Tuesday.
Thank you for being there, MS Warrior. She's always telling you how it is on a real level about her life journeys with Kasimta. Like she said, if you fall down, get up. Um, if you fall down again, get your butt up again. Do not let the world beat you, beat the world. You know, I tell my nephew every time I see him, "What's up, nephew?" He goes, "Hi, uncle." I said, "You ready to take over the world?" Some days he says yes, some days he says no. On the days he says no, I tell him, "What's wrong? You don't feel good?" And he'll say, "I don't have the energy." And I say, "Well, you got to dig deep sometimes because the world is going to sap your energy. So make sure that every time you fall down, you get back up and never let anything hold you down." Just like a disease, um, no matter how hard your struggle is, don't let it beat you. Because as soon as you give up, that's it. It's over. Um, that's the only advice I can give you when it comes to life. My father always says, anything you haven't accomplished in life, just keep living. You probably will eventually. I'm AG the Dad. This is Shit Talking Sundays in the Light of a Warrior. Thanks for tuning in. Please check us out every Tuesday at 6. Every Wednesday at 6:30 is Fitness Tip of the Week. Every Sunday is church service, morning service. That's right, because every day is STS day. So everybody stay blessed. I'm out. Peace.